Hello, everybody. You are through to Off the Wall. We will be reviewing and reacting Miss Marvel episode 1. Spoiler review straight up from the top. So, if you haven't seen it, obviously come back later. But I'll be one of your hosts today. My name is Bogz with my girl. So, how are you today, Sol?
Doing good, doing good. Ready to review this episode. Saw it this morning.
Yeah, so obviously interesting series, new one on Disney Plus. Some people have seen a few episodes, some people have seen, the whole series and stuff, but we're just reviewing episode 1 today, where we see, a teenage girl, and it's established early on that she's going through internal conflicts, her thoughts about daily life, her family life, her home life, where this character is kind of expanding the MCU in different ways, um, and we feel like it's also a unique and interesting take on her life and the MCU in general. But please, so what are your overall thoughts on episode 1 and what you've seen so far?
I was really excited for this series because I have read some of the comics. The comic writer G. Willow Wilson, I'm a
Hmm.
big fan of her. She's written comics and also like regular books, like novels. And so I was excited to see like a character she created getting a show. Um, and Vellani, I think, is the name of the person playing Kamala Khan. I really like the choice of her as Kamala Khan, and I really enjoyed this episode. It was super cute, and there's some stuff that, like a moment that was direct from the comics, but then there's other stuff that are changing up from the comics, and I kind of like some of the changes that they're bringing. So if you are a comic book reader, even though it is a little different, I think it's for the better.
Yeah, so me going in, I never read this comic series anyway. I haven't read a comic book in like 10 years. So obviously it's since then, any kind of newer characters I'm just not in touch with. Upon the announcement and casting announcement and things like that's when I, do a little bit of research to see the character origins, or why is she Ms. Marvel and there's a Captain Marvel. Like I didn't have any
Mhm.
idea, not familiar with any of, the people behind this. Um, and seeing the trailer, I didn't even really like the trailer. I thought it was um, just progressive nonsense, and or just shoving diversity in your face, and feminism, and it's gonna be like the comics, and it's woke, and I just wasn't into it. And I gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised. I've had so much fun watching this. I never in a million years thought I would like this. I actually discussed. I thought about not watching it. I didn't want to do these reviews. I thought this isn't for me. It's about, it's for teenage girls. Or I thought it was so cute, so adorable. The actual dialogue that they use in some of these scenes is like I couldn't believe some of the stuff that they used, and I'll come to that in a second. Like I had to rewind some of the dialogue. Like shocked at some of the, the Arabic and Urdu that they've used, and some of the cultural references. Never would I ever think that would be used in, Marvel or the MCU on Disney Plus. Like it's really, really surprised, and really clever some of the stuff that they used. And Iman Vellani, absolutely adorable. Like
Mhm.
super talented. I could tell from her voiceover right at the beginning. The mixed animation, the CG in it seems to be really good as well. Obviously not perfect, but I was massively surprised. I was going in expecting to hate it, and my review was going to be, "Listen, I ain't going to watch anymore. You and Mike can do the rest, pretty much." But I was thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it. I was completely shocked of how charming it is, because this show, it isn't for just teenage girls. It's like a family,
Mhm.
like a pix. Like I got a feeling it's like I got the the when I watched Homecoming for the first time, that same kind of feel good coming of age sense of wonder about it, and like that, and a little bit of Hawkeye as well, but more Homecoming. Like I just thought it was so far smart, funny, charming, and I was pleasantly surprised. I pretty, I really enjoyed it. And um, the story, obviously you get traditional, it's quite typical arcs in terms of it's a young girl trying to find her identity and her belonging, and they're the kind of key themes of the coming of age story, sure, but we get it from this, obviously, multicultural perspective. Obviously we've seen that before, but particularly, this comic book character and how she will fit in the MCU, and getting to see her home life, which was not we've not seen before, and getting her, um it seemed obviously, if anyone doesn't know, her parents and her, obviously they live in America, but they're of Pakistani origin,
Mhm.
which is South Asian, um, and obviously they're Muslim as well, and they speak a few different languages, but mainly Urdu um, and Arabic as well. So, and seeing their home life and seeing how lived in it was, and I'm telling you, that's accurate. Obviously, if anyone doesn't know, I'm half Indian, half African, Somali, but obviously India and Pakistan, they used to be the same country and stuff. So, all really identifiable. And the dialogue, the way they were behaving, the way they're acting, is all so clever and well thought out. Pretty impressed by it, actually. And and just seeing, yeah, sorry, the home life, the relationship with the mother and father, adorable, and just going through daily life problems, boys' parties, no kind of the first kind of half of the episode, no real big mention about just references about other Avengers. Obviously, Captain Marvel being the main one, but no kind of real, like, such a simple, grounded story,
Mhm.
which this girl trying to get through life, being this minority, and I really like find it like personable almost, even though obviously completely different people, but yeah, I just find it super interesting. I was really, really impressed. But overall, what do you think about the start of it, seeing the first few scenes, and obviously getting the whole Muslim perspective, Pakistani perspective, and a female perspective as well?
I think they did such a great job with this, and I loved like some of the like moments that this isn't just a Pakistani or Muslim kind of perspective. This is just like an immigrant or like a person of color kind of thing. Like the mom like giving food to her friend Bruno.
Mm.
Like,
Quick,
oh, I'm
it
not.
was there, packed
Yeah,
ready. Yeah, she
yeah.
has
It
them
was like,
stored in the fridge. Yeah,
yeah, I'm not
the
hungry.
best.
Oh, well, I'll make you some food. Like you
Yeah.
see that like Meg Effect Week wedding goes, oh, I'll make you something, or like that's something like I'm Cuban American, so that's anytime one of
Mm.
my friends would come over to my house, they're eating. We're going to feed them, kind of thing. So like little moments like that where or the mom completely defending her daughter to like the instructor even though she crashed into his car for her driving test, but then once they're in the car be like, these are all the things that you did wrong and you need to pay attention, and kind of like going into her but being adamantly like for her daughter like in that moment, but then kind of like tearing her down in the car.
Mm.
So like I was like, oh, these are things that is not just a South Asian thing. This is, I think, like immigrants across the board.
Yeah, and I'll come to the cultural things in a bit later, but just to get through the plot first, we see obviously she's not massively popular in school, but she's also has friends, and she's not actually bullied. I think she's like picked on. So
Yeah.
there's the traditional stuff, but they have a little twist on them, and we see that being her best friend Bruno. It seems to be an integral part of the story, and I think maybe moving forward he will be as well. He's almost like the tech guy,
Mm.
the smarter in terms of advice and abilities, and more emotionally stable, that kind of thing. So yeah, he seemed cool as well. I thought they got a cute little bond there. You don't know, like, will they, won't they, kind of thing.
Hmm.
And I think what getting on with the family. I thought that was a little weird, um, like a little guy in the house. I just thought, like, from an Asian perspective, who are like supposed to be, really religious. I just think, oh, that wouldn't happen. Definitely not. But that's what I mean. Again, I'll come to the culture things in a second. But a lot of people, watching this, I know for a fact they want to get a lot of these like little references, particularly in the dialogue, which I'll come to. But little references like, why do they speak Urdu and Arabic? Like, people must be wondering that stuff. So I'm aware that people will not like the show for things like that, and I just find it interesting that they made a choice to do that. So yeah, I'm not sure if it was brave or like, it's just interesting that how many other people will this open the doors to in terms of the Marvel and the
Mm.
MCU, because it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't, for me, it didn't feel too woke to me. Obviously there's a few things, a few things here and there, but obviously, like she's having problems. She's not like a Mary Sue. She didn't. She's overcoming obstacles. There's character development. Nothing's easy for her. She doesn't know how to use her powers. I'm like, okay, like these are relatable, believable things, and
Mm.
make her likable as well. So um, and as well, I want to mention the visual. Having the animated stuff, whether it's like an internal monologue narration or their text message exchanges where you saw it, whether on the
Yeah.
street, on roads. I thought it was so smart and obviously reflective of comic books and such a different way. Obviously, Into the Spider-Verse a little bit, but
Hmm.
a unique way of doing it. Storytelling, because sometimes they'd be subtle, sometimes it'd be more obvious. Just it kind of adds to the colorful visual kind of as well art direction of the whole thing. Whether if it's because obviously with Asian culture, there's a lot of colors, vibrancy, singing, dancing, whatever, and it was just a reflection of that. And you could tell by the creators, the writers, you could tell that they are of that ethnicity,
Yeah.
and they were involved in the writing and stuff. So, what do you think of the visual thing of the look of it, the costumes, the colors? I thought it was all great, to be honest.
I absolutely loved it. Just first off, the fact that we get that like little voiceover at the beginning, you're like, oh, this is her doing like YouTube stuff. So
Hmm.
she's one of us.
Yeah, yeah,
She's on
right.
YouTube. Slap
Yeah.
Baby Productions has 2 subscribers. Come on,
Hopefully
people,
we
you need
got
to
we'll get more views than her. Yeah, yeah. I hope
right.
so.
But the fact too, when they were having their conversation about what special thing to add to her costume for AventureCon, and like you see all the like the moments like, oh, a zombie Captain Marvel or this Captain Marvel with Doctor Strange, or like a cross between that, and you're seeing that in the background on the buildings or in the air. I thought that was so clever because that is what would happen in a comic panel, is like they would show like little like different things in the background to
Mm.
kind of convey like their thoughts, or even then with the text messages that would be in the background on the panel, which we did get to see it Into the Spider-Verse, and I love that we're seeing it in this show.
Yeah, it was also her artwork as well that would come to
Yeah.
life, and it just also showed like the Avengers, the cultural impact it has in the world that they're in, and
Mm.
also in the larger world as well, where it's just like it's every
Ant-Man has a
billboards
podcast.
and yeah, right, right, yeah, lots of funny little Easter eggs. And unlike, let's say, Moon Knight, that probably didn't reference, I think, anything outside of uh, you know its own story, the Avengers, other Avengers storylines, whatever.
Mm.
This was constant references, so it feels like for me it's a more LinkedIn continuation of the
Yeah.
kind of timeline that we've got. Yeah, I just want to mention Iman Vellani. Fantastic. I thought from the narration, I thought she's a star, honestly. And then
Mhm.
seeing her again, I've never seen her before. I've got no clue. I mean, I think she's 19 years old. Um, Seeing the trailers, I wasn't sold, but seeing her relationship with the parents and how funny she is and how
Mhm.
charming, she seems like she can do action stuff as well. They got me. They got me, to be honest. The relationship with the friend as well,
Mhm.
or her friends, and just how kind of her charm. She kind of reminds me of Miguel for some reason in Cobra Kai. I don't know. They have um, that niceness about them, that
Yeah.
like a hero's thing about them. So yeah, but I thought she's fantastic. So what were your thoughts about her? And was there any other standout characters? I'll come to you in a second, but her as Iman as the lead.
I think she did a fantastic job. She's going to be a star going forward. Like, I'm going to be looking out for any
Mm,
project that she joins in, because out of this first episode, I absolutely loved her. And I loved her family. I was talking to Bogz a little before this, but her brother in the comics, very pious, very religious guy. That scene at the beginning where it was like, oh, if you stop praying so you can eat a little bit of food, like that's literally in the comic book.
mm,
But in the comic, he doesn't have that relationship with his sister that we kind of saw, like him bringing her chai and like kind of like standing up for her to the parents. It typically in the comic, he's more on his parents' side, and he's also like unemployed, and it's like, oh, God will help me get a job. I don't need to do anything. God will do it for me, kind of thing. So his character is a little bit different from the comics, and I really, really like that. And then like her parents, her mom being like this uber strict person, like but who really deeply cares about her, made her that little hope costume too, to kind of be like, oh, this is how I'll appease her. Her father in the hope with the green paint the day before, like, was he gonna sleep in that paint for the next day? Like, and how much he just loves his daughter and wants to be there for his daughter, goes, oh no, we trust you, where like the mom's like, I don't trust you at all. So kind of just like that relationship that she has with her parents and with her brother, and just their acting in general, like all four of them in that family, I loved it so much.
Yeah, the mother's fantastic. And she's
Mm.
obviously the same mother. I haven't got the actress name. I don't know if you can pull it up for me. So, she's the same Kumail Nanjiani's mother in The Big Sick. If anyone has seen that as
Oh,
well.
okay, okay.
Yeah, it's the same lady. Super funny. Yeah, definitely.
I knew I recognized her.
Yeah, right, and definitely the kind of heart of the show. Um, yeah, the whole family was funny. Definitely.
Yeah,
The dad as well. The brother. I didn't love the principal. I thought that was a little bit
yeah.
too
The guidance counselor, that was a
modern.
little weird.
Yeah, I was a
Yeah.
little. Yeah, he was like, oh, I'm some, like, LA
No
kind
one would
of,
ever call over a PA system like he
yeah,
did. Was like, "You're in
exactly.
trouble. Never
I didn't
mind.
know it
Just
would be
kidding."
their teacher. I thought it'd be like one of her friends, like that's in charge or something.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was kind of a little bit weird. They made that a bit too kind of a little too meta there for me. But yeah, I'll mention the cultural thing as well because you can watch as many reviews as you want. I'm telling you now, not many is gonna discuss um, the use of her being Muslim or her family being Muslim or speaking Arabic, speaking Urdu, or because maybe they're not knowledgeable enough in it, or maybe they're too nervous about it. But I'll speak about it, and also the fact that for me, I'm gonna make a conscious decision to watch maybe a couple of Muslim YouTubers, because I thought like how many Muslim YouTubers do you know? Not you personally, but do you know? I can off the top of my head, I can probably think of three. How many people, let's say just for example, how many white YouTubers do you know? I can name you right now 50. Like it's just funny like that, how just your mind works like that in terms of,
Mhm.
Muslims occupy a third of the world maybe. So they are there, just that we're not, tuning in. So um I'll say that from what I've seen, I've been very impressed with. And particularly the dialogue and the use, it's because it is interesting going into a show like this. It could be really cringe, it could be how they represent the religion. Is it going to be um portraying a positive, negative? Is there going to be talking about terrorism, things like that? How would they discuss certain things about the religion? I did find all that fascinating. Some of the dialogue that they use I thought was really smart. So particularly, and again, I know people are not going to get some of what the things that they're talking about. um, so one part was when they were talking about when she asked her parents to go to the Avenger Con, I think it's called, yeah, the
Mhm.
Avenger Con, and they were like, what are you gonna wear? And she's like, telling them, I'm gonna dress like Captain Marvel. And then the mother says, Astaghfirullah. So that basically means, again, I'm not a scholar, I'm not a teacher. It basically means, forgive me, God, like, forgive me,
Mhm.
Allah, like, forgive us. And that's a very accurate thing that you will hear in every single Muslim household. Um, if you say something like blasphemous or, like
Mhm.
inappropriate, they'll say Astaghfirullah. That's just an, did I ever think I'd hear that in the MCU, or, people just natural little things like this. That you hear and see every day. Her calling, Abba and Ami, like, that's just standard Asian language that you hear that, I can appreciate, and, I can refer this to people who can appreciate. They can show their kids this.
Mhm.
Um, would I ever say anything like this about Moon Knight or Hawkeye? Absolutely not. So really impressive. And, when he came in, when she made the dress for her, and then the dad came in, he said something. I know 100% most people are not going to understand what he said. He said "Chakra." That's just like a standard Bhangra party thing that you say, like when you're
Mhm.
coming into a room dancing, or in the middle of a party you say something like that. So he's coming to a room trying to be funny, um like, having a party thing. And I was shocked. I think I paused it. I thought, what did I just hear? Did he just really say that? That's like an old, Punjabi, North Indian, Pakistani thing that they've said for, my dad used to say it, just generations of people used to say it, and just hearing it, it was super weird. So yeah, what they've done, again, the dialogue and the writing, I've been super impressed with, of what it could have been. I was expecting it to be cringe, and I was pleasantly surprised. And yeah, I think they've been really smart about it, to be honest. Um, yeah, and quite accurate and realistic, and which is refreshing, and
Mhm.
going into like a coming of age teen thing. I was just not expecting that. So I don't know if it, if it was already established in the comics or people were expecting that. But again, at the same time, I understand if you're in the middle of America or in the South of America, I don't know, somewhere, you're not gonna. I understand why you're not gonna like this show, because you're not gonna. You can see the subtitles, because even there was a couple of times where it said speaking in Urdu and Arabic. It didn't actually tell you what they said, but I got it. I got everything that they said, and I feel like I understand why people's not going to like it. So I hear
Yeah.
them, why they might feel excluded or a bit uncomfortable watching the show or can't relate or maybe need to check something. But that's the thing as well. If anyone has any questions about anything that happened, or put it in the comments, I'm happy to answer them or anything like that. Or you can speak to us on Twitter or something. But yeah, so what do you think about the cultural things that you're seeing? Was there anything that you thought was good or bad, or at the minute, obviously they're going to go deeper into the religion stuff. But
Mhm.
as of now, on the surface level, I was impressed. But we'll see. I could get, they could be do something really offensive or stupid. I don't know. But it was a good start for me. Pleasantly surprised. But what about you?
I loved it, and like those little moments were too when it's saying speaking Urdu or speaking Arabic. Like I
Mm,
obviously did not understand because I don't speak either of those two languages, but it kind of was. I loved it in the fact I was like, oh, this is something for someone that's not me. Kind of like in the same sense when I watch something and it says speaking in Spanish and I understand what they're saying, but other people might not. And I was like, oh, this is for us. This is a
mm,
nod to us. We'll know what it says. And if someone wants to know, they can come and ask me or kind of
mm,
thing. But it's so I was like, I love that there's these moments for other people that like don't typically get these moments
yeah.
in Marvel, let alone like regular movies or TV shows that are to a Western audience. And I loved all the the stuff with the aunties when they were I don't know what the garment that she was wearing that they told her she was too short,
Mm,
but like when they were like, "Oh, did you hear about so and so? She's no longer married and is backpacking
mm.
through Europe," and they're
So the
making
white
fun.
guy. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I the only reason I knew Gora, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it the only reason I knew is because of you?
Yeah.
And
That's
I was
another
like,
one. See? Yeah. That's another one.
because you and I talked, I was like, oh, that's gringo for us, like we call.
Right.
So, but that's the only I only knew that because of punks, and that was like a conversation like a few months ago.
Right.
But I was just like, oh my god, that's like my tias, or like just people that we call tias, like that aren't actually
Mm,
related to us, but we call them aunties in Spanish, tias. I was like,
mm.
they're gossiping all the time, talking this kind of smack about people. So I just loved all these little moments that I was just like, okay, this is specifically for the people of that culture, and then these are moments that aren't just for those people of that culture, but also for just minorities in general.
Yeah, definitely. An immigrant story and things like that. And
Yeah.
like I said, there was a lot of familiar elements. Like we have seen this multiple times with different, ethnic groups. But it
Hmm.
was just surprising to get this South Asian one in the MCU when I wasn't expecting it.
Hmm.
Again, I kind of told you I don't want to review this. I'm just not feeling it.
Yeah.
The
I
trailers didn't
remember.
sell me. I'm not. If I wasn't reviewing this, I'm telling you, I wouldn't watch this show. And I was forced to watch it, and I was super impressed with what I got.
I'm glad you
Um,
gave it a chance.
yeah, right. And the teenagers, obviously, teenagers struggle, coming of age stuff, with fitting in, with boys, with bullying, with parents. You got all of that, but it's just slightly different each time. And there's no easy journey for her. So that's why I think it is accessible for everyone, and it is personable because it's slightly different, and it's
Hmm.
not, obviously there are some things, here and there that I did see that were a little OTT with the progressive stuff, but obviously, we're dealing with Disney and, they have agendas and stuff. So we accept that. But the smart writing that they had with it was pleasantly surprising. Overall, yeah, like I said, getting a different perspective from the Pakistani culture and the background and being Muslim and, um, and also the one in fact criticism I was just going to say on the summary is that I don't totally get her powers, what she
Hmm.
can or can't do. I know it's the first episode, but um yeah, just how they work and then where she went first, like I
And
was a
they're
bit
different
lost
from the
in all that.
comics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that'll get flushed out, but I didn't have a
Yeah.
clue about some of that stuff. And yeah, I didn't totally get that, but
I love
like I
that
said,
she
I've
wasn't a
appreciated.
pro at it though.
Mm.
Like, because
Yeah, exactly.
too many times, like, we see where, like, it's a new power and they automatically know how to use it.
Sure.
And she was just like over there, like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way more believable and
Yeah.
personable if you put yourself in their shoes, you know, how you would act, that kind of thing. So that
Hmm.
makes it much more interesting for me and appealing. But overall, yeah, I think they've got a fantastic lead from being a newbie. It's a fresh take on a familiar story, and yeah, a very charismatic lead as well. Thoroughly impressed. For me, I'll give it 8.5 out of 10. I really liked it. Again, not perfect. Like I said, I didn't totally get powers, and could have even been longer for me. But yeah, really strong start. Might even give it a 9. Who knows? But I'll give it 8.5 for now. How about you? So overall thoughts on
I'm
episode
gonna
one?
give it a 9. 9 out of 10. This is a story I've been anticipating because I have read the comics and I am a fan of G. Willow Wilson, and so I was really excited for this, and they delivered for me. And kind of like in the opposite, when go check out our Obi-Wan reviews. Like I was really excited for that, and that is not delivering for me. And so there's where you can have that high expectation and still get a good story, and that's what's happening here with Miss Marvel, at least with this episode.
Yeah, talking about expectations as well. Like another reason why I didn't want to review this is because I am not enjoying any of the Disney Plus series that have dropped in Phase 4. Obviously, good moments here and there, good scenes, a few good episodes, but I'm really just not. None of them are just kind of hitting that sweet spot for me, like it did in Phase. This movie felt like it was in Phase 2 or Phase 3 of the MCU. That homecoming feeling, I definitely got that here. But yeah, obviously episode 2 next week. Can't wait to review and talk about it. But yeah, pleasantly surprised. Hold my hands up. I've come in. There's a lot of things that I'll take shots at. I don't like, but when if it gets me, it gets me. So this is one of them. So pleasantly surprised, and yeah, can't wait for next episode. But any final thoughts there? So
I'm just excited for next week and what more they bring in from the comics, what stuff that they change for the better, kind of like the brother in this first episode. So I'm excited.
yeah, we don't really have a villain yet as well.
No.
We'll see. I guess life at that age is a villain. When
Right.
you're that age, and
Or the post-credit scene, it might
yes,
be people coming after her because she has powers to kind of maybe something to do with the Sokovia Accords or kind of thing where like you have
true.
to
Don't know what
see who power-based beings are out there.
who want to investigate or look into it. Yeah. Will
Yeah.
we see Captain Marvel come into the series? You
Mm.
presume so. Carol Danvers and stuff. But yeah, even like the way that she puts on a pedestal, almost idolizes
Mhm.
her, and her parents are giving her the reflection thing. Who do you want to be? And it's kind of up to her to pick and choose what she wants and who she wants to
Mhm.
be. So I got all that. Again, these are coming of age things. That might be specifically for girls, kind of thing. I don't know, but I enjoyed it as a the family story, family feel of it. Again, that homecoming feeling, I definitely enjoyed it. But anyway, I've been Bogz. That's been Sol. Thank you so much for watching this. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. Like I said, any questions you have about any of the culture stuff, feel free to ask. But yeah, we'll see you on the next episode. Can't wait.